Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for the one wave. I will appreciate that one. Thanks so much. I hope you enjoyed morning tea. As with most symposiums and conferences, there'll be lots of opportunities to eat and talk, so please enjoy them and take advantage of that. I do love this space. I don't know if anyone else is getting the vibe of a wedding with the lighting in here at the moment. Every time I look down here, I'm like, oh, it's a wedding, but it's not. Great. Is everybody ready for our next presentation? Is everyone keen and excited and thrilled? Yeah? Yeah, good. Excellent. A reminder, please feel free to take notes while you're listening. It does help your brain retain the information that you're hearing, and it helps you remember the questions or the research that you're going to do after today. So even if that's drawing while you're listening, and actually activates your brain in another way that helps that information sink in. Same for our friends who are watching at Zoom. If you'd like to draw or write at the same time as listening, it may help you keep focused as we listen to our speakers. So next speaker has already been on the stage before today. So I guess it's like an encore performance, if you will. You like that one? That was good. It's a longer encore, but that's what you want. If you're calling for an encore, it better be like 3 times as long. Yeah. Your next presenter is the Business Development Officer for Legant part-time. She also runs a small business and is a first-time mum to a 14-month-old son, which means that you have 0 time to yourself with all of those things, I'm presuming. Yep, great. Yeah. Poor thing. so many commitments, but has been committed to cloth nappies before their son was born and encountered a bit of pushback. So there's going to be a bit of information here about plastics avoidance and driving reuse. Can I please get you to clap your hands and stamp your feet for the Business Development Officer at Legant, Sheridan Rose.
Oh, thank you. Thank you again. I'll have to go and grab that. Thank you. Oh, forward and back. That's easier than the other ones. So I'm here not only as a Business Development Officer for Legant, I'm also here as a small business owner in the Territory. When I was on maternity leave, I started a small business because I was getting bored. I'm not a stay-at-home mum. Kudos to those of you who could be a stay-at-home mum. I can't. Well done. You deserve a round of applause. So towards the end of my mat leave, when parental leave ran out, I started my small business to help other local small businesses. So I am actually a virtual assistant and I help up to 7 small businesses run their own business. So leaving them to do what they do best and I'll do the rest is my saying, which is also a plagiarized saying from someone else and I can't remember their name. So please excuse me. This is my son, Jacob. So I didn't intend on having children and then I had one. That's kind of how it happens usually. And I didn't realize that the environmental footprint that children leave until I started investigating children, really. So this is my little reason for, one of my small reasons for being here today is my son, Jacob. He's actually 16 months now. I wrote that a couple of months ago. He's 16 months now. And he's my reason for wanting a better future, not only for him and myself, but for the generations to come. And this is where we come into waste. So I'd like to call myself a crazy idea coordinator because I don't actually come up with a lot of ideas. I let other people do that. I just make them happen, which is another reason for my small business. So I'm here to talk to you about modern cloth nappies as one option for the future. So on your table, you'll all see we've put a disposable and we've put a modern cloth nappy on the table. Feel free to pick them up, have a play, have a look, and we'll go into what they are if you've never seen one before in a little bit. So plastic avoidance. We're here to talk about plastic avoidance, driving reuse. You've all seen this quote, have we not? We've all seen it? Yep, so we don't need a handful of people doing zero waste perfectly. We need millions of people doing it imperfectly. And that really hit home when I was talking about modern cloth nappies to my mother's group. I run 2 mothers groups as well, about modern cloth nappies. Because even if you do 1 cloth nappy a day for a year, that's still 365 less disposable nappies in the environment. So where do we start? We think outside the square. Is there a better alternative for plastic avoidance? Now, I, for one, am a Tupperware fan, which obviously is plastic, but I don't remember the last time I bought a disposable water bottle. Mount Franklin and I don't get along anymore. So I want to take that a bit further and talk about thinking outside the square. Is there a better alternative in your day-to-day life, baby or not? Now, it may not affect 50% in this room, 75% in this room, because I'm not seeing a lot of ladies out there compared to the amount of gentlemen in the room. But for fathers of daughters, for grandparents of granddaughters, thinking about sanitary items is a really, really important topic. It might seem uncomfortable for a couple of you, but it's really important to break through that and think about what kind of world we're leaving to our children in terms of sanitary items. So you can actually get reusable sanitary items now. Do we all know that? Crickets, guys. Whoa, not doing anything for my nerves up here. So not only can we do sanitary items, we can also do reusable baby wipes. So I, for one, do not use disposable baby wipes. I make my own, and I wash them just as though I would wash my modern cloth nappies. If you guys do have any questions about this, feel free. Like, I'm totally cool to talk about reusable baby wipes all day. I even came up with my own recipe. It works. It works. So not only, do we think about sanitary items, baby wipes, knives and forks, carrying our own, pegs. Did you guys know that there's stainless steel pegs for those of you that don't do washing? Yeah, cool. My friend Jessie can actually hook you up if you need some. Drink bottles, and then we come to nappies. So we're going to give you a few stats and figures along the way, which I've taken from various sources. In Australia, I haven't seen one Australia-wide study with regards to modern cloth nappies yet, which is a federally funded one. I have seen one come out from the UK, but I haven't seen one on a federal level up here. And we'll go into that a little bit at the end as well. So, overview. We're just going to talk about a short history of bum changes. And I know, I'm going to acknowledge my privilege out here. We are talking about crap catchers, okay? And that's okay, but it is an important part of waste management, considering the impact they have on the environment. I'm going to give you stats and figures. Feel free to throw up your hand and have a bit of a chat any point through this. We're going to give you a solution, which is on your table. We're going to talk about the benefits. We're going to talk about childcare centres. And we're also going to talk about local government support. And for those of you that are in the territory government, we'd love your support too down the back there. So let's get started. I wanted to introduce Jess Blackmore from Archer and I. Has anyone heard of Archer and I here in the territory? Crickets again. Yeah, we've got one. So Jess is an entrepreneur, small business owner like myself. She is the crazy idea instigator. So we met over a mutual love of bum catchers or bum changes. And I met Jess when she first started her business, I think, was it? Right back way when she showed me a bunch of cloth nappies in a suitcase in her living room, because it was almost like a drug deal. I walked in and I wanted to go and find these cloth nappies. I was like, how many can you sell me? Now they're so popular to a point. Jess has actually got in her online shopping cart, for those of you out there wanting or due soon with a child or want one in future, a gift option. You can actually tick a box and it says this was actually a prize. So for those of you who will get addicted in future, I personally am an addict. I have 60 cloth nappies. Nobody needs 60 cloth nappies unless you've got twins. So that's how popular these are becoming. However, we are encountering some obstacles. Sorry, I should talk about you, not me. So Jess is a mum of 2 under 3. And she's also, which is really exciting for us here in the territory, Oz Mumpreneur Emerging Winner Australia-wide. So I think that deserves a round of applause, Jess. Well done. Well done. And she also just, to back it up, came silver as well. And I'm not going to go through that one, Jess can. So I think that's a really big testament to what you've done, coming from a suitcase in your on your couch, handing them out to me like crack, to where you are now, which is, I'm sure you're going to say this, over 100,000 nappies sold since you began. Isn't that amazing? That's at least 100,000 less disposable nappies out there. Anyway, I rambling on, which is what I'm known for. So I'm just going to hand over to Jess and I'll come back to you just before we finish up.
Thank you, Sheridan. I'm not quite as off the cuff as Sheridan, so I've written down a few notes and a few points to go over. But My business has been running for about 2.5 years here in the Territory. And we've seen a massive increase in the use of cloth nappies, not only in Darwin region, but Australia-wide. And we're also really starting to hit those sales in international as well. A lot of places overseas are already doing this. Vanuatu has already stopped the use of disposable nappies. So it's definitely not something that's out of our reach. I will now go into just a quick overview around the first disposable nappies. I was actually really shocked to know that they weren't designed or developed due to a matter of convenience. They were actually came about due to a shortage of cotton after World War II. However, it didn't take long for mothers to realise just how convenient disposables were by allowing them to move away from the typical domestic duties and provided them with more freedom. Fast forward to 2020, and here we are dealing with the unconstitutional environmental challenges that no one could have possibly predicted. Procter & Gamble are just one disposable nappy company, and yet they have a yearly revenue of $10 billion. According to market research from IBIS World, Australians spent $984 million on disposable nappies in the financial years of 2013 to 2014. Isn't it incredible to think we spend so much money on a single-use item that our babies wear for approximately 4 hours, and yet will stay in our landfill for hundreds of years to come? Each year, there is around 300,000 babies born in Australia alone. That's a lot of little bottoms we need nappies for, and a lot of potential single-use disposable nappies going into our landfill. Not to mention the disposable wipes and the plastic nappy bags that they are usually placed into when they're disposed of. In the Northern Territory in 2018, there were 4,050 babies born. On average, a baby will have around 8 nappy changes in the first 8 nappy changes per day in that first 12 months of life. If we were to do the math, 40,000 times 40,050 times the 2,920 nappy changes gives us a staggering 11,826 nappies going into our landfill here in the Northern Territory alone. If we can stop a large portion of that going into the waste disposal facilities, it would be something of a simple change that will make such a great impact. I mean, we really can. It's not that difficult. People just need an education on the benefits of cloth and also how detrimental disposable nappies actually are in the environment and the potential health risks to our children. Okay, so this figure blows my mind every time I hear it. Each year, it is estimated that a disposable nappy will take 500 years to decompose. That means the first ever disposable nappy will still be in existence for approximately another 430 years. It's a pretty grim thought when you think about it. The first nappy is going to outlive your and my family for generations to come. The average box of disposable nappies costs around $30 and lasts between 4 to 10 days, depending on the age of the child. We are talking about an average of 7,300 nappies per child before the time they are even toilet trained. The average family has 2 children. That's 14,600 nappies in the first 2.5 years of life. That's not including the extra years until they are toilet trained overnight. If a family were to use cloth nappies, all you need is 24 for full-time use. You can get them for as little as $204. Now, as Sheridan stated, I've got 2 small children under the age of 3. I can assure you that has meant an incredible amount of nappy changes over the last few years. When I first had Archer, I had decided to use cloth. I didn't really know what I was doing. I have a FIFO husband and no family in the Territory. So I tried to use cloth for the first few weeks and thought, oh my God, this is way too hard. And I stopped. 3 weeks after using disposables and living in a unit where we had shared bins, I realized I couldn't keep doing what I was doing. The amount of rubbish that we were going through was just insane. So by a family choosing to swap just 1 disposable nappy a day to cloth, they will save 365 nappies from going into our landfill every single year. I am proud to say that my little family and I, as well as Archer and I customers, as Sheridan has stated, had prevented over 100,000 nappies from entering landfill around Australia in the past 2.5 years. It is estimated that Australians go through enough disposables to fill the MCG 3 times. Let's think about that. That is a phenomenal amount of rubbish that our children are using for approximately 4 hours. That's it. As a nation, we have made some incredible changes in avoiding plastic and using more reusable products, from moving away from our plastic bags in shopping centres to the reduction of straws, and here in Darwin, moving away from using our plastic containers when we go to the markets. Darwin has kind of been a bit of a forefront with a lot of this. We've had a lot of innovation here in the territory. I really want to see that continue. So why not with cloth nappies? With billions of tons of disposables going into landfill around Australia every single year, it seems like not only a natural, but a necessary progression to not only normalise, but also promote the use of cloth nappies within our community. So I'll give you like a quick overview basically around the cloth nappies. If you wanted to have a look at the ones on your table as we go through this, you're more than welcome. We've come a long way. So here is a basic example of what they had in their old-fashioned days. I know that a lot of people still use them, but for me, it's definitely old-fashioned. I have a lot of mums who still use them, but for me personally, I like to go with our new modern cloth nappies. So basically, they're super simple. They have 3 main parts. They have a waterproof polyethylene.
Pick them up, guys. You can pick them up and play with them. It's okay. Sorry, Jess.
You're right. So they've got.
They haven't been used.
No, they're all brand new. So they've got a polyurethane laminate, which is basically just your waterproof coating, which is on the outside here. They have an inner lining, which is used to wick away the moisture from babies' bottoms. They're generally made from a suede. These ones are actually made from a bamboo charcoal. They're nice and soft on babies' bottoms. That's why we chose them. And then you have the insert. So in my mind, the insert is your most important part. Why? Because depending on the quality of your insert will depend on how long you'll have for the use of the cloth nappy before you'll need to change it, unless they do a number 2. But so when you're using, first of all, with the inserts, they're generally made from a few different materials. You can get them from hemp, bamboo, cotton, and microfiber. There are others as well. But that's sort of basically the materials that are used. Cloth nappies don't need to be all or nothing. I know so many of my families who have come up to me at markets or just to have a chat and they go, oh, we're not really sure. We might just try with one. Okay, they might not get very long out of one cloth nappy, probably around the same 4 hours as you would for a disposable. I guarantee you that 92% of those people, we've been keeping stats because I find it really interesting, have come back within the first week and have purchased more nappies. People kind of think, oh, so much extra work, they're really hard, we have to clean them. It's honestly not. Being a mum is already hard. You already have, or a parent, sorry to the men, you already have so much washing that you have to go through. It literally adds one extra load every 2 days, basically, to your already growing amounts of washing. So to use them is really simple. You've got your insert and you have your shell. You push through your insert to the end and pull it out nice and flat. So basically that's it. So with these cloth nappies, they're called one size fits most. So it basically means that they will go right through from the newborn stage, right through to toilet training. So with my children, I had my daughter and my son was 16 months, and so he was still in cloth. I can tell you that was a lot of cloth nappies that we were using every single day, but you can use them for right the way through. So basically, you can see these snaps on the front. These bottom 4 here are called the rise snaps. So you literally just fold them on and push them in. I can hear them. I'm loving it.
Feel free to click them. It's great.
They're literally that simple. So that you would use for your newborn size. Across the top, we've got 2 rows. One is for your hip snap, one is for the waist. Again, you literally just snap them in place. and you're done. Once baby has soiled the nappy, it's super easy, take it off. If they've done a number 2, you pop the solids into the toilet. You can pull it apart, give them a quick rinse, and then they go into a dry bucket. I won't go through all of the cleaning methods, but there's like an entire group dedicated to how to wash and clean your cloth nappies.
If you want any more information, I'm an expert.
So something I hear a lot from families who are wanting to start cloth is, but I don't want to play with poo. Let me assure you, if you're playing with poo, you are most definitely doing it wrong. But something that many families are shocked to hear is that when you use a disposable nappy, and this is stated on the box, that when you take it off, you are supposed to pull up the solids into the toilet. You are not supposed to place any fecal matter into your rubbish bins. So I would kind of think that it kind of evens the playing field, considering the number one reason is they don't want to have to touch them. What do you think? I think that our job is to educate new families about this and other benefits of cloth nappies, not only for our environment or our hip pocket, but for the health and safety of our babies. We recently conducted a survey of parents in the Northern Territory around the use of cloth nappies, and 82% responded, stating that the reason that they had chosen cloth was about the environmental impacts of disposable nappies. However, parents also advised that once they had switched to cloth, they were noticing less irritation and nappy rash on their children's skin. This really makes you wonder what the chemicals and fragrances the disposables contain and how they are infecting our environment once they reach landfill. A single child family who chooses to switch to cloth can save at a minimum around $1,000 per year. This figure increases with each child of nappy wearing age, given the reusability of the cloth nappies. You can only appreciate how good that morning coffee is as you're going through the drive-through, knowing that that extra $1,000 is going towards your morning soul food. I don't know about you, but my children never sleep, so coffee's kind of become a staple. Cloth nappies can be used for subsequent children, as I had said, and a further saving for families and the environment. I know some families who are still using the original cloth nappy for their 3rd child with just a little bit of TLC and a few changes in the elastics. Cloth nappies have become quite the fashion statement for our babies over the past few years, with mums waiting on tenterhooks for the release of their favourite brand's new prints, literally like selling out in seconds. I know, it's insane. Literally for a poo catcher. It's insane. With the year-round warm weather here in the NT, who even needs pants, right? My children live in cloth well, my son's toilet trained now, but they lived in just cloth nappies and a t-shirt. Our childcare centre would even be happy for us to send the child in just a cloth nappy and t-shirt. So much savings. I often have a little giggle, as Sheridan, as many of my mums who started out by purchasing just one cloth nappy and they might just give it a go. They come back to me and saying, oh my God, I have a legit addiction. I have had fathers and husbands message me saying, I've banned my wife from your site. This is out of control. A lot of mums have also stated that the reason that they started cloth was that they were going to their own mums group and they were the only person using disposables. I think that it's fantastic that here in Darwin, we are really pushing behind this initiative, and it's really become a movement. I guess COVID-19 saw mass panic buying of disposable nappies. We as a business had some of our busiest months and we're inundated with messages and queries on how to start and use cloth and how to make our very own wet wipes. This is something we didn't have to stress about at all during COVID. Disposable nappy companies aren't mandated to disclose exactly what products are used in the making of disposable nappies, nor do we know the long-term effects of plastic on our little one's skin for extended amounts of time. In fact, many paediatricians and GPs are now recommending families move from the disposable to cloth to assist in the reduction of the irritation. This is especially true for premature babies. In a lot of the bigger hospitals now, they will only put the children, especially during the time that the preemie babies are in there, in cloth. They won't use disposables, which I think is a really important fact. People really have become innovative with how they can reuse or repurpose their cloth nappies. I'm the NT representative for the Cloth Community Fund Australia, where we receive donated secondhand cloth nappies, give them some TLC by repairing the elastics, and then provide them to families who would not otherwise be able to afford to use them. Customers of mine have used their inserts in the garden beds, so these guys, as a simple way to hold moisture. Obviously, due to the fact that they're made from natural fibers, they'll eventually break down as well. You can use them as a dust cloth. I use mine to wash my car. Once the PUL, so the waterproofing, once it's no longer waterproof or starts to delaminate, we've got some really amazing small WAM businesses who we've been collaborating with over the last year or so, and we send them down to them or distribute to them. They make things like little children's moccasins, like little shoes. They're so cute. You can use them as a swim nappy. And people have also been repurposing them into menstrual pads. So as Sheridan and I have also been discussing with hotels around replacing their disposable swim nappies in their convenience shops with reusable nappies. There are so many minor changes we can make that will have a massive impact on our environment. A local childcare centre franchise recently provided me with the following statistics for their 11 centres here in the Darwin Greater Region, based on the average number of children per centre and the required number of daily changes as per their policies. They use a staggering 237 disposables per day. This equates to 677,820 disposable nappies for just those 11 centres per year. The average disposable costs per centre per nappy is 28 cents. That equates to $189,790 being spent on poo catchers. I had been requested to provide a quote to just one of these centres for 500 cloth nappies. As you can see, the initial costs are significantly reduced compared to yearly costs for disposables. However, when we also consider the washing costs, that would increase the overall cost somewhat. How amazing would it be if all of these savings could go back into the centres for education, materials, activities, and so much more? And what a saving from going into our landfill here in Darwin. Just to be transparent, we are currently undergoing R&D funding to have these actual figures kind of assessed, and we would love to share them with you. Sheridan's going to go into this a little bit further.
I'm being told to wrap it up, so I'll be as quick as I can, Amy. So obviously we're very enthusiastic about things. It might not mean a lot to a lot of you. However, they're really important, as we've thrown a lot of stats and figures at you. So I just want to go over the obstacles to making cloth the norm, not the option. So education. Now, Jess and I are working on that to get more education classes out there in collaboration with the other cloth nappy retailers here in the Northern Territory. Education to childcare centres. Remote water usage is something that comes up, and if you have any questions about that, we'd be more than happy to have a chat to you about that. But we do have Keep Australia Beautiful on board, I think, with a solution to that one. R&D funding, there's not a lot out there. As I said earlier, we don't have a federally funded study on this, which is amazing considering how much damage it does to the environment. Disposable nappy companies. Now, as MCN retailers like Jess don't have the marketing capacity that Pampers does. So obviously they're going to get their message out there a bit more than what we are. How we can start from grassroots level upwards instead of an overarching marketing campaign downwards. Now, government support from all levels. This is where you can help. This is where our private sector can help. So one of the things I'm doing is the BDO for Legant is also talking to people about cloth nappies in right down the centre, up to Tiwi and across to Nhulunbuy, about how you guys as local councils can actually help to do this. So we're talking about rebates for families who invest in cloth because, you know, as we've now learned, invest once and it can get you at least to 3 children, which is amazing. Grants for childcare centres for the initial startup cost, which is what we've already been talking about with one particular centre. Education classes, you guys can help us to find the audiences to put those on. Community centres, we can come in and, you know, do pop-up stands there. Maternal child health nurses, getting them on board, getting the promotion out there to them. This is something that you guys can help us with. Also, healthcare centre promotion, again, you know, when they have their prenatal days, antenatal days, let us come out and have a chat to them. It's not from a marketing point of view, it's about an education point of view based on the stats that we've just shown you. and sponsored education programs. Now, private sector, thank you for coming. Love to have you here. Love to talk to you about how we can help you reduce your waste costs at Shore Bay. So is it true that you have to dump an entire load of recyclables because there's a bucket of or a bag of disposables in there? I've heard it is. Correct me if I'm wrong, and that's okay. I'm happy to be wrong. How can we help you to do that? Sponsored education programs. Yep, bit of a grab here. Come along and have a chat to me. That's why I'm a business development officer, because I'm good at talking money. So that's pretty much it from us. If you have any questions, we'd love to. And I know Amy's over there going, get off the stage. If you have any questions, happy to go through them with you now. Otherwise, I'll be around for most of the symposium, but Jess does have to nick off quite soon. So let us know. Any questions from the audience? Go for it.
Thanks, Jess, because I think it's pretty good. Oh, do you want me to microphone? Yeah. No, pretty loud. Yeah, thanks for, I guess, educating my wife into buying about, I think we've got about 30.
Educating or educating?
She's a teacher. She's already educated, but we have about 30 of your nappies. My question for you is, what's your, like, I'm a little bit into nappies now because I've got a little girl.
Love it.
You were saying about the materials. What's the life, like, it's got polyester and stuff in it. You were saying about the degradable, I guess it goes into landfill. How long is it going to take for this to actually degrade with the polyesters and the plastics in it? I know you've got little things there that were going to other companies, which is cool because I didn't know all of this information until now. But that was the first thing I said to my wife is this really going to be the recyclable solution if you got plastic and polyester? How do we recycle that? What's your future? I guess my question is, are you doing more research on what to make these out of?
There's been quite a lot of research around, we have put a lot of research into our designs and how we're doing them. At the moment, it has been more around how we can repurpose them to try to just keep that longevity of life going. But Sheridan may have more information about the actual.
So, small answer, I don't know. Best answer, I will find out for you and we can come back to you with those kinds of answers. At the moment, we are looking at just from a repurposing point of view, as Jess said, so we can keep using them. As long as people are educated in how they wash them, how long does plastic last? It doesn't really break down unless we, break it down ourselves. So long term, we can come back to you with an answer. Political answer right there, hey. We'll come back to you with an answer. However, yeah, as long as you can treat it well, I suppose. It will last, and then it just degrades over time. Yeah. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, no, it did.
Okay.
It's yeah, I just want to say, great idea.
Thanks.
So sorry, everybody. Questions are going to have to wait.
Sorry.
Presentations in this section. Please have a round of applause for Sheridan and Jess.